Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Perkins, a board certified OBGYN, and today we're talking about how to balance estrogen in our female bodies. And this topic is important because estrogen belongs to all of us females, and so it's naturally there, but it can become imbalanced. We will talk about what that will look like today, and we'll also talk about hormonal imbalances and how they impact our bodies. And we will finish up this video today by making sure that we give you tips for how to balance estrogen in your body. So let's talk about estrogen. What is it? Estrogen is something that is in our bodies, something that is extremely important, but really it is one of the reproductive sex hormones in a female. And now, I keep saying that it's in a female, but males have it too, just in a much smaller amount than we have in a female's body. And so it is there, it is in your body right now, doing its job hopefully, but sometimes it may become imbalanced. And we're gonna talk about what that may look like and what to do about it today. So estrogen is important, yes it is, but the reason is, it starts by maintaining the female reproductive area. And by that, we're referring to your uterus, all layers, including that inner layer of the uterus, your fallopian tubes, your ovaries, your vagina, and everything in between. It is also important to help your body transition from a pre-puberty state to puberty to adulthood, as well as when you transition to menopause. Estrogen really helps with that entire process. So when you have a child who now starts to develop breast buds, that's due to estrogens. When we start to have armpit hair growth or pubic hair growth, that's due to estrogens. When you see the changes that happens physically where the fat distribution in a girl's body starts to go into the hips and the lower body and things like that, that's due to estrogen. And so right around the time of puberty, estrogen starts being pumped into our systems in greatest amounts compared to when you are a child in order to help our body achieve these adult changes, but really reproductive changes that lead to our bodies being able to become fertile. And so estrogens are key when it comes to fertility. And so when we break down exactly what that looks like, we're talking about the ovaries and their functioning. We're talking about releasing eggs every month between puberty and menopause. That is due to estrogens. So when we think about that transition at menopause, where your body does the opposite that it did during puberty, estrogens are being reduced in your body. They're lowering in your body because we're not fertile anymore. And so at that time frame, we have the reverse effects happening internally. So let's talk about what that may look like. If your estrogens are not balanced, you may know this firstly by having irregular periods. And by irregular periods, I'm talking about not being able to tell what calendar day your menstrual cycle should begin. Literally, when you have a normal function estrogen and hormonal system, you should be able to look and say, you know what, in the next few months on this day, my cycle should be here, roughly. And if you're unable to do that because your cycles are 25 days today, this month, and 35 days next month, or you may skip a month, that usually means that we have a hormonal imbalance that needs to be corrected. You may have other symptoms if you have estrogen imbalance, such as acne, mood changes, where you're just like, oh my gosh, I am having a lot of anxiety and depression and my mood just goes up and down. And especially during the menstrual cycle, it changes so drastically. That could be due to an estrogen imbalance. You may have issues with your weight going up and down or not maintaining, or you might even say something that happens to me each month. Oh my gosh, I gained 8 pounds overnight. How did this happen? Because of those estrogens. You also know that estrogen imbalances can happen at certain periods. We talked about puberty and menopause, yes, but pregnancy as well. This is a moment in time in your life physiologically where you have a surge of estrogen in your body, and then as soon as you deliver that baby, it drops dramatically. And this is not like the amount of hormonal changes that happens from cycle to cycle or during your weeks. We're talking about an intense and high level of hormones being pushed into your system and leaving your system as dramatically. And that can cause your body to feel as if it is chaotic and going crazy, and you're like, what's happening? Something is happening internally, but it's something that's physiological or biological. However, it can make you feel as if you're not living a normal life. Trust me, I get it, I've been there. Now, these changes are not permanent. That's a beautiful thing about how our body works hormonally. We have so many hormones, over 50 of them in our bodies. And if we balance them well, we can become normal, whatever normal means to us. All those imbalances and those changes that I mentioned can go all the way away. We also know that lifestyle changes can cause your hormones to be imbalanced as well, especially your estrogens. Things like not sleeping well enough, key to imbalances. You may also have issues with not eating well. You may eat things that cause your estrogens to be high. You may even take in or digest or eat a lot more estrogen-friendly foods, which when you're in your reproductive age, this is not necessarily a good thing. When you're menopausal and you're just like, I would love some more estrogens, that might be a good thing. We will talk about what that looks like in a few minutes. We also know that there are medical conditions that can cause estrogen imbalances as well. For instance, polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's a biggie. PCOS for short. We know that it can influence the estrogens and the activity of your estrogens in your body. Now, I'd like to mention a quick statistic for you. 80% of women experience hormonal imbalances, especially with estrogens, during their lifetime. 80%. That means the likelihood is that myself, as well as you, will have a hormonal imbalance due to estrogen at some point during your life. And so this affects a lot of us. And if it's affecting you, I understand, and we can do something about it, because we know that estrogens can wreak havoc on our bodies. They can lead to breast cancers and uterine cancers and a lot of other bad things. We want to control them. We want to balance them. We want to make sure that they stay in a normal zone as much as possible. And so here are some tips of what you can do to help to balance your estrogens, but really balance your body. The first is be sure that you are eating enough fiber every single day. Fiber are things that you eat that your body does not use for energy. It actually goes in your system, stays in your system for the duration of passing through your GI tract, that is going from your mouth to your anus, that entire pathway. But these fiber will stay in your intestines, pass through, but they grab all the excess hormones like estrogens that you may have lying around in your body. And this is really important because they take things and excrete them. And when you do that, your body does not reabsorb excess hormones and excess estrogens back into the system, which is typically what happens when you don't eat enough fiber. And so fiber looks like oats for breakfast. It looks like brown rice instead of white rice. It looks like whole wheat bread instead of white bread. Kind of get where I'm going? You want to have some fiber every single day. It also means eating green vegetables because they have a lot of fiber in it. And so with that, they give you nutrients, you get your micronutrients, your body gets all the vitamins that it needs. But the fiber component of these vegetables will help to remove these excess hormones. Another tip is to be sure that you are sleeping well at night. And I truly mean sleeping well, meaning that you want to get enough hours of sleep. 4 hours will not work. 6 hours will not work. And most recently, 8 hours doesn't work for females either. If you've ever slept for 8 hours and you're just like, oh my gosh, I still feel tired, I don't feel rested, and you're a female, it's true. Research shows that you need closer to 10 hours of sleep per day as a female to feel normal the next day. And so, I know it's a lot. That's almost 2/3, or not even 2/3. That's more than a third of your day. So that's a lot of time to dedicate to sleep, but it's important. And it's important because as females, our organs will rebalance themselves and your hormones become balanced at night when you're sleeping. And so if you're awake most of the day, you may feel tired, but your hormones are not being produced in their right amounts and they're not becoming balanced because you're not resting enough. So we're gonna try to sleep, all right? The last tip that I'm gonna give you today is to make sure that you're moving your body on purpose. Exercise. Yep, that's exactly what I mean. We want you to exercise as regularly as possible. The recommendation is really to engage in moderate intensity exercise for at least 150 minutes per week. That's in a 7-day period of time. And you can break this up in any increment that you'd like. Just in any 7-day period of time, you want to achieve about 150 minutes of moderate. This is not you dying, and this is not walking casually, okay? Because I've had a lot of patients tell me that they walk every day and they're exercising. No, 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 no. We want purposeful exercise, one that will break a sweat a bit, and you want to do this 150 minutes per week, all right? It's important for your hormones because as we sweat, we release excess hormones through our skin. So sweating is good, okay? Sweating is amazing, but it also helps to regulate your organs so that they can also process your hormones well. Your heart, your kidneys, your lungs, your brain, all of those organs need estrogens. And so when you keep them healthy and well, you'll also be able to help to balance your hormones internally. If you're just like, well, how do I know? How do I know if my estrogens are imbalanced? I have a hormone quiz that will help to tell you if you have an excess amount of estrogens in your body. It is a simple quiz. It will take you about 5 minutes to complete, and it's located at the link below this video. And so if you're curious, you can get an answer pretty quickly by taking that quiz below. And the assessment is actually highly discounted just for you watching today. So go ahead and click that link below. The discount is only for a short period of time. So go ahead and get started today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something today. Let's balance our bodies and balance our estrogens. And I hope to see you next time. Take care.